Donald Trump renewed his criticism of the battle to retake the Iraqi city of Mosul from ISIS control. Here's what the Republican nominee said about the U.S. officials behind that operation.
One of the reasons we're going to Mosul is we want to get the ISIS leaders. We think they're staying in Mosul, and we want to get them. Well, before the announcement is over, they've gone. Whatever happened to the element of surprise? The element of surprise. What a group of losers we have.
So who do voters feel can best handle the war on terror? Here's the recent ABC News Washington Post poll, tracking poll here, gives Hillary Clinton a 4-point edge over Donald Trump, 49 to 45. Let's talk about this with our panel. We have CNN political analyst and national political reporter for Real Clear Politics, Rebecca Berg, CNN political commentator and Hillary Clinton supporter, Hillary Rosen, and Amy Kremer, Donald Trump supporter and co-founder of Women Vote Trump. Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you.
I want to start with you because we just heard with what Donald Trump had to say, Amy, and calling the people who are leading this effort from the U.S. perspective a group of losers. Is that, from your perspective, the right way to pitch yourself as the next commander-in-chief?
Well, Donald Trump sometimes says things that we would say in another way, some of us would say in another way, but his point is that who goes out there and gives their strategy before they go in and do it? What does happen to the element of surprise? You know, we could handle this a different way, and I think that's his whole point, and that's why he's calling them losers, because who does that? Who does that?
Exactly. Who does that? This makes me crazy.
Go ahead, Hillary.
Donald Trump talking about these men and women fighting in Mosul, fighting in Iraq.
He's talking about them.
He's talking about the
leaders.
No.
Well, you're right.
He's talking about the generals. He's talking about the strategists, and he's talking about the people implementing the plan. Losers. And you know what? You're moving thousands and thousands of troops. You are getting civilians out of harm's way. Of course, people are going to be notified.
Talking about people
let me
in the
finish.
States.
This is a giant operation. So the idea that you could somehow do this in secret is just ignorant. I mean, he consistently conveys ignorance around these issues. And he consistently says, I don't have to have a plan. I don't have to have any other ideas because I'm going to have a secret plan. And he has no plan. He doesn't even have anybody to listen to because he doesn't listen around these issues.
Why does he have the endorsement of all these high-profile military
He has
people?
He has a few, but not nearly as many as Hillary Clinton, as we both know. But the problem is that the consistent degradation of the American military by somebody who is running to be commander-in-chief.
He's not talking about the military. He's talking about the administration.
You don't think those people over there going through this operation and on TV, and we heard the generals, we heard the strategists say, push back and say, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about if he thinks that this is what we should be doing.
And beyond that criticism, you have to look at, okay, if this is a man who ends up in the White House, how does he now relate to all of these people? Because that's going to be a big part of what he does, and that is a big part of what the American people care about when they talk about national security.
Absolutely, and Donald Trump has said in the past that he would have better generals than they currently have. You don't, as president, come in and put your own generals in charge. The generals are kind of static, and of course these are career military professionals. They're not political appointees. And so, Hillary, you're absolutely right. Donald Trump has not gone into detail about what he would do to address some of these problems, to actually take on ISIS. And it's really, I think, remarkable that we are at a stage in the election where you look at the polling on this, and they are neck and neck on the question of who could better confront terrorism. And Donald Trump hasn't gone into detail about what his plan.
Considering the fact that she was Secretary of State for 4 years, she should be well ahead because of her experience there, and she's not, because the American people don't trust her. ISIS is there because of the vacuum that was created when we just pulled everybody out without the Service of Forces agreement. So, I mean, what is she going to do about it?
Well, Hillary, if what Donald Trump is saying and doing is so egregious, why is he within 4 points of the former Secretary of State, former senator?
Well, look, all of these numbers, you know, on virtually every issue are very much tracking now Republicans and Democrats across the country. So I don't think it's unusual at all. I think we've always thought in terms of the bigger picture, this is a few-point race on these issues. Not that big a difference, although Hillary Clinton has consistently, you know, pulled ahead of the race, as we just saw on the CNN poll. But, you know, here, if you have somebody who shows such a willingness to name call, such a willingness to go out there and denigrate the very folks who are putting their careers on the line, I don't see how you then come in and lead. It's impossible to imagine.
Well, but when you look at, to the question, Victor, you just asked, it's obviously resonating with some people who think it shouldn't be happening. We shouldn't be there. The JV team stance from President Obama early on does not help Hillary Clinton in some regard, because it makes it look as though they didn't know that this was coming. And when Donald Trump talks about it and what he wants to do and take it on fully, is that why? I mean, is it really the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton what they haven't done? Or is it his different tactic and what he claims he will do?
Well, I think you raise a very interesting point here, because he doesn't have any sort of history or record that we can point to on this,
right,
as Hillary Clinton does, having been Secretary of State, having worked with the Obama administration. Obviously, there is an 8-year record of what President Obama has done on foreign policy and national security. Donald Trump has never been in this sphere. He has sort of misrepresented even some of the things he has said in the past about foreign policy and national security, such as when it comes to his past support for the Iraq War prior to the invasion. And so there isn't a lot we can, we being voters, there isn't a lot that voters can look at, point to with Donald Trump. And so they basically have his rhetoric to go by. And he does project a very sort of strong rhetoric. He talks about, knocking the hell out of ISIS, or
no
bombing the
specific
hell out of them.
articulated plan
But no
here yet.
specific
No
plan.
specific
But
plan.
We're on the
That makes it
threshold
easier.
of what could be an extremely successful operation for the first time in a year and a half against ISIS. You don't have Republicans on Capitol Hill criticizing this. You only have Donald Trump out of political expedient
And we've got
criticizing.
we've got to take our viewers there.